Hello viewers, today for repair we have a Uniden telephone. This is a 900 megahertz model. It is number EXI376 and unfortunately it has an issue with the audio. There is a hum, particularly in the receiver capsule, but it's also in the outgoing side as well. If you've seen the initial checkout video, you'll know what it sounds like. If not, I will go ahead and demonstrate it here. So this is just the dial tone. And now I'll press a button just so it's an open line, and you'll be able to hear the sound by itself. So, it sounds to me like it's an electrical type sound, and it could be something inside the circuitry in the base. It could also just be the power supply, and that would be really nice if it's just the power supply, because that's fairly easy to fix. Well, and by fix I mean we're just going to replace the power supply with a different one. I have a comparable power supply here from another telephone that's working, and I'm going to connect this power supply and see if we hear the sound anymore. So to me that sounds pretty normal. We'll get an open line again, and you can hear there's really no noise in there. So let's make a test call and just make sure that the sound is going on both ends. Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. So I don't hear any hum anymore on either end. So it looks like the problem is going to in fact be within the power supply. So what we're going to do here, this honestly is not worth repairing because these are very common adapters. I probably have 50 of them around the shop somewhere, and it's just not worth the time to open this up and try to figure out what's going wrong with it. So unfortunately this is just going to get tossed in the recycling pile, and that'll be the end of that. And I'll have to get a new adapter for it. This particular adapter I'll use through the repair, through the refurbishing, if we got to clean it out. So we use this just to test it, but this is for another phone. This is for an old charging cradle. So anyways, I'm going to talk about the refurbishing for a minute, because this is going to be somewhat of an experimental refurbish. The past couple of telephones I've done that looked like this, which are really grimy, I've had an issue where a white kind of a substance will show up after the cleaning, and I discussed this with a friend who cleans things like this, not necessarily telephones but other small electronics and handheld electronics, and he described it as if the plastic was bent and had a stress point in it, and that is exactly what it looks like after the problem shows up. He suggested that perhaps the issue was within the soap that I was using, and the first time I had it happen, the thought crossed my mind. At that time I was using a very light, diluted hand soap, so I switched over to using dishwashing soap, which was concentrated and very powerful, and I ended up getting the same result from time to time. So is it the soap? I don't know. It's a possibility. Perhaps something in soap in general causes that type of a reaction. I really don't know. But what I'm going to do this time with this telephone, because this is a fairly rare model, and I really don't want to have any issues with that happening. I'm going to go through here and try to clean it with just water, so I may have to soak it for a little while and whatnot to get everything loose. And I'm going to use a whole new brush. I got to clean this first, but we're going to use a new brush that's never been used with the soap before, and we'll just see what happens. So let's get started. And we do have to replace this foam as well because it's all gross. And I plugged in the power cord for the screwdriver, but I didn't plug the other end into the screwdriver, so this probably, yeah, that's not going to help us at all. So now, do the second part of it, getting that to charge, and we'll have to go through this manually, which is okay. I don't think these have a whole lot of screws in them. Okay, there's that. I think we already discussed that, so we're not going to discuss it again. Well, these actually do have a fair number of screws in them. These contacts actually aren't too bad considering the appearance of the rest of the telephone. Probably is not worth using at this point. It's just a little bit less effort. Kind of stuck in here. I'm not sure if it's because of the stickiness or if there's some other factor contributing to it. I don't believe there's anything else that holds us in there. Alright, so this actually isn't too bad. It's mostly just on the outside. So we're going to go ahead and clean this with just water and see what happens. And same with the buttons, we'll clean those with just water. We are going to clean this off as well because it's exhibiting some signs of not working very well. Or actually, never mind, I forgot. The buttons were sticky, they were registering fine, but we will clean the board off. This will probably not clean that actually because it's not that bad. And we'll pick up on the video soon. Okay, so I just cleaned all the components with just water, and it was extremely tedious and it took a very long time, but it appears to be that there's no white stuff forming on the handset. Now, of course, it's only one sample, and that doesn't really demonstrate any sort of a correlation, but it's a possibility that it was some type of reaction happening with the soap. So I will keep cleaning sans soap and hope that it never happens again. You know, I don't like that answer because it just makes a lot more work, and quite frankly the phones are not as clean because it's not, I mean, I wiped everything down with a sandy wipe after I'm done, but it's not meticulously sanitizing anymore. I don't know, perhaps very hot water is equivalent, I don't know. But if that doesn't damage the phones, then that's how we're going to do it. Okay, while the handset components are drying, we're going to open up the base. And we'll clean the surface because it's got some weird, like, I don't know what that is on there. And we'll clean the contacts as well. I wonder what that is. It's like a dust of some sorts. Strange. Alright, we're going to go clean this off now. Alright, let's clean the contacts on the base. They're actually pretty clean. Not much to be done to it, so we'll just wipe them down real quick. Well, here it is. no white stuff showed up. The screen isn't the greatest, but no white stuff showed up. So can't complain about that. You know, again, I'm not sure if that's because of the lack of soap or why that happened. It could just be that the other one was so bad that it happened. This one wasn't that bad, so it didn't happen. I really don't know, but I'm in the process of trying to figure out why that's happening. So we got to put new foam on here. So I have a big piece of foam here that I usually just cut the pieces from. Okay, that's that. And of course we have no base. Actually, I suppose we could. I guess we could test it like this. No hum. Alright, that seems good. Let's undo that before something bad happens. Actually, it's kind of easier to work with it at a charge because it doesn't over tighten anything. these stay not sticky. My concern is because I didn't use any soap that these are going to get sticky again, but we'll just hope that doesn't happen. Is that the white stuff? Something sticky on the back of this handset. Actually, I guess it's not that sticky. It's just a little bit discolored. I wonder if that's the white stuff showing up again. I don't think it's really picking up on... Oh, there it is. You can see it right there. I didn't use any soap on yours, so I don't know what the cause of that is. I suppose that would be a part that's particularly dirty because a lot of people hold the phones like this. So that would be a part that gets worn or high exposure to dirt, you know, compared to like the side here. Well, I don't know what that is. I'll wipe this down with this sandy wipe at the end of the whole procedure here, and hopefully that'll take it off. Alright, let me go grab the base, we'll put that mat together, and we'll make one final test call. In its previous life, somebody wiped the base down with something, and it was too harsh of a chemical because you can see it left all streaks in the finish. And I don't think I'll be able to get that out. But, oh well. It's not that noticeable from a distance. Even just a foot or so away, you can't really see it. Interestingly enough, this antenna was not even situated in here correctly from the factory. It's supposed to sit up like this and go through both of these holes here. Not holes, whatever you want to call those. I'm fairly certain that is how it's supposed to sit. And it makes the most sense given the way the hardwares are lined up in there. Okay, now we are set to plug this in and make the final test. And actually, you know what I can use? What adapter I can use? These telephones take the same adapter as a Uniden 150 charge cradle. And I know I have a spare one of those from that set of 1588s that I worked on not too long ago. Here we go. So we're just going to take one of these and I will assign it to this phone. Because quite frankly these adapters are a dime a dozen and I have more than I need. Now this, which goes to a relatively uncommon piece of equipment, can go back in the box and not get lost. Okay. So I will finish out the video with this. This is a 9V 210, yep. Pretty sure this is a 210. Yeah, see this is a case, actually, is that what kind of adapter is this? This is one of those weird cases where, let's refocus this camera here. This is one of those weird cases where the specifications are exactly the same and the physical plugs are the same, but for whatever reason they find it necessary to change the model number. So even though these are both 9V, 210 milliamps, same polarity, same physical plug size, they're two completely different model numbers. So this is no good. I should probably label that as such. And now I'll put this on here, connect that up. Connect this, and got to connect this test line over here, and I will make a test call. Okay. Oh no! That's got a hump to it. What in the world? Well, that's... what on earth? So, maybe this isn't bad then. Well, I know this power supply isn't bad. Actually, I don't necessarily know that. I've never used it. Okay. That's certainly bizarre. Let me see if I have another power supply here. Perhaps I can find one from a 7980. We know that one, it likes that one. Well, you know what, I'll deal with this later. I'll test it with this again, because for whatever reason it likes this power supply. Actually, just out of curiosity, let's flip this around. Let's see what happens. Nope, it didn't do anything. Alright, so I don't know what is going on with this. This is what we're going to do for this one. Let's take this. I've got a paper here. And we're going to call this, this will be for the Uniden. Oh no, what is this? I already forgot. This is an EXI376. EXI376. And it hums. I'll keep that around for now because perhaps there isn't anything wrong with it. I'll reconnect this one because I know it works. And there's no hum. So let me call test phone. No hum.
No hum. Testing. 1, 2, 3. It sounds clear.
Hello. Okay, so aside, oh no, was that not on the video? Ugh. Well, anyways, aside from the oddity in the power supplies, and there's an awful glare on there, jeez. Okay, so aside from the oddity with the power supply, I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but as long as it works with some power supply, that's really all I care. So that'll be it for this one. Thank you for watching. Comment, subscribe, and out.